of something important given back to the human race. I listen to every abductee story. And the only thing we hear is they'll help us. They're here to help us. Help us what? Kill people, murder people, become more ignorant, all those horrible words. I don't support them. People say, well, I don't support it. I just tell it what's going on the planet. I'm not making it that way. I'm just a reporter. What was the word in the psychic world that they use? The gatekeeper, the watcher. They watched the reality of the world. Mother Teresa did that, and then she screwed up in the end as well herself. So, because she wasn't really tuned in. I just do my best to stay on the path that I'm on and try to stay there till the end. Hoping that doesn't change because of something. I'm not saying, sometimes I'm in a place where I'll say I willingly give up everything for something else. But that's where Jesus said you have to be when you walk a spiritual path. So, are you willing? Are you ready to let go? When Jesus told his own disciples to leave their families and children, you think the average spiritual person would ever do that? Of course not. Well, that's not spiritual. Well, if you're a spiritual being moving forward, you can't have things that'll tie you to this world and keep you from becoming that. Or you won't. It's that simple. You can give it up. So I don't want to be a spiritual person anymore. That's your choice. But if that's the choice you make, you'll be here for a long period of time in this stagnant cesspool, swimming around, drowning, and say, wow, why did I ever give it up? I almost did a couple times. But even Jesus almost gave it up. But it's coming to your senses, realizing you can't let go of the truth. And you have to follow it to the end. I know people listen to my show and, well, I don't believe that. You can believe whatever you want. You can live in the lies, which people love to hear. If I wanted to make money, if I was even slightly a bad person, I could be one of the richest people on the planet. But then again, being rich on this planet doesn't mean anything. It means absolutely nothing. It has nothing to do with soul. Nothing to do with the truth. The truth is, if you lie to yourself enough, you can have as much money as you want. So, yeah, people with money, you think they like listening to what I tell them? I've been writing Oprah for 15 years. You think she ever got back to me once? People that have an ego with an agenda are not willing to let go of that. They want to build on it. They want to make it something stronger or greater, which is not beneficial to the human race or themselves. But as long as the ego says it is, that's all that matters. I mean, I had TV on, my partner had TV on, and she let it come on. It was about, I'm bad with names, I won't say her name, but a woman that was one of the biggest promoters and had the most biggest prostitutes under her in the United States. But she had the most famous people underneath her, meaning that she sent people to have sex with and stuff like that. Now, who do you think how that went down with all these multi-millionaires paying for sex and famous people? And now she's crashing. She didn't sell out. I mean, not that I'm against prostitution. I mean, if somebody wants to pay for it, you get married, you're going to be paying for it the rest of your life, and that's what a lot of men say. So pay for it once and let go of it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, some countries it's legal, and certain two parts of the United States it's legal. But those women got to go for a test all the time. I guess it's guys got to go for a test all the time too now. But we allow. Here's the something that I'll talk about for a while. I don't have that much time, but we talk about morals. And I just wrote this to the Pope. But when we talk about morals, do people have a clue what morals are? Because he was trying to say you got to feel good. Feel good? Morals make you feel good? Doing right might make you feel good, but sometimes doing right things doesn't make you feel good. You just know you're doing something right. So even discipline to a child, doing it right versus doing it from a loving point, or just, I love him, I can't give him discipline. And now you're not even allowed to spank your child. So what are morals? How do you determine what a moral is? By the level of awareness of the human race, which is pretty bad. So there are no morals in the world anymore. I mean, children are programmed with 2 morals. Now, you can't steal and don't lie. Did the children obey either one of them? Did they grow up within that state of consciousness? Of course not. So if you can't live by the 2 foundation morals, and we're growing society where we can be free and do what we want, morals are no longer in an existing word. Look at, I don't want to go into prejudice and words and all those other things, but look at reality. It's simple. Look at it. Look at the changes we made in the past 25 years, because there are no morals. Whatever you want to do to your body, whatever you want to change on your body. I'm surprised they didn't legalize multiple weddings in the United States and all those other things. Marrying your brother and sister and all that. Now, how come? To me, that's prejudiced. It's based on a programmed religion. Does anybody know the story of Sodom and Gomorrah? Read it. You might learn something different and understanding to this point, where Cain had to have sex with his children to produce his family, his 2 daughters. It wasn't really his fault. They got him drunk and they had sex with him and all that kind of stuff, but they promoted the family. But somewhere along the line, you can't have your family members as a part of your marriage. It screws up the DNA. Well, how about we all supposedly came from the same DNA? How do you screw it up? If it was Adam and Eve and they kept having sex with each other and their children, it was all the same DNA, wasn't it? How did it change then? See, the scenario is so ridiculous. The truth is not there in any level. And they still try to tell us it is. Like they know what they're talking about. Like religion has a clue to God, Spirit, or Jesus. They don't. And I'm sorry to say that. No alien race has the truth. They wouldn't be here. Would you play with an ant farm if you could go to any universe in any part of the galaxy and universes? Let's go planet Earth and play with an ant colony. I call the human race an ant colony. Basically, that's all we are. Think about it. Oh no, but I'm important. When people say alien races came down for them, to do what? To create a society out of you? Why you? Well, I'm everything. I was, and then suddenly you make yourself somebody famous in another lifetime, which is another lie. Soul progresses. Yes, it does. So if you were the president and died, you think you'd reincarnate as a homeless person? If you were a bad president, you might reincarnate as a homeless person in Africa or something, India. But soul usually progresses. Trump, I don't want to put him in a picture. Let's deal with Kennedy. When Kennedy was killed, you think he'd have to reincarnate to a homeless person in Africa? Really? He was, to me, one of the best presidents and never had the chance to become that. Sure, there's stories around everybody. I mean, the sex thing. Every man has a sex problem. Every man that's claiming to be a man. At one level, one form, even in thought, action, word, however you want to word it, women are different. But I think they're becoming a little more closer to men nowadays because they're being programmed so hard by men that this is right. So let's get back to this. Now, when we talk about this image that we created of being right, being spiritual, uh, I would say President Kennedy, Eisenhower, a few people that I wasn't into history. History never was important to me because it's gone. We're in the present. Well, do you want to know what they did to Native people? Does anybody in the United States want to know the truth about Native people? No. Why is that? The most important history of the United States is completely forbidden for people to learn it or know it. How does that make sense to an average person? Is there any kind of morals on that? Well, we shouldn't know the truth. Makes us a better person. Yeah, my family killed everybody off the planet, so now I'm going to look at them as the most spiritual people. I can go on and on about that. But it's about you. Are you ready to move on? Take that next step. And it's not going to be hard. The few little guides that I can give a person, steps that they can take to really put themselves in that spot, that's all that matters. Being willing to commit. And I know you heard me say it 1,000 times. 30 days is the starting point. Because if you can break the subconscious mind and reprogram it, you can move forward much faster. Because if you let the subconscious mind replay itself 2 days later, 3 days later, you're still in the same program and you can't move forward. So I just saw, oh man, I can't think of his name, I forget it. Well, one of the greatest speakers out there, and he talks about 21 days. And I just wrote him a letter. I said, no, I moved it to 30 days because there's a little more commitment there, a little more pushing and shoving. And it will stay changed if you reprogram the program of the subconscious mind. So it's a thing to look forward to doing when you do your meditation. 30 days, I say, give it 30 days. Really put your truth and energy and everything you can into that. It's going to be rewarding. But don't forget, the angels, guides around you say this person's going to give us 30 days and then turn on us. They already know that too. So you're going to do it right. Do it for all the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons. You know, people say it's not getting to the what is it, the place where you're trying to get to. But the journey getting there is the experience. Well, you'll never get to become God. But there's always one step more to take to get closer to that. So in a billion years, you'll still be getting closer to that. But you have to tell yourself, every step that you get closer to that, you become a greater soul within itself. It makes common sense. It's simple. It's not a lie. It's not twisted. It's not my imagination. Common sense is very important, and people don't even have that. If you're on a ship with aliens and you're working with them, and you come back and you can't get anything from them, does that make any common sense? I say ask them for something stupid like their shoelace or a pen or anything from their ship. So when you deal with your own ideas, beliefs, and all that, look for the truth within it. Prove there is any. The Bible has very little. I just went on to the Pope about that this morning because he's talking about read the gospel for 10 minutes every day. Really? And what are you going to get? A story? Feel better? Closer to Jesus? No. I mean, my book explains about Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Only 2 of them were apostles of Jesus. 2 of them were evangelists. So when we play this game of life, we each take 1 step forward and hopefully not 2 steps back. But most people, they get that 1 foot forward. Oh man, I'm taking 2 steps back. Not consciously, subconsciously. But as we do that, we're going backwards. We're not going forward. In time, we're back where we started.